Hey everyone, welcome to Waxing Pixels, the Battle Geek Plus podcast. I almost introduced myself before I introduced the show, and now Heather's laughing at me. Anyway, my name is Josh, and we just got back from E3 a few days ago, and with me I have the rest of the Battle Geek Plus crew, including Heather.
Hi.
Ryan.
Hey.
And Frank.
Insert coin to continue.
Bloop, bloop.
Continue we will. Continue on with the podcast. This week, we have no news topics, because it's all news topics. Because, well, we went to E3. Well, because E3 is all about the stuff that's coming out.
Yeah, I know, but you said there's no news topics, but it's all news topics. Like,
right.
What?
There's no specific news topics. We did not look for specific news, but we are talking about E3, which E3 is all news.
Okay.
So,
all the time.
We have no news topics, but everything we were talking about will be news.
Talk about all the news.
All the news.
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 Bum. News time.
Right. Anyway.
I like that.
We'll do it again.
News time.
I like it.
So anyway, so we went to E3 last week. It was Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I'm sure you all followed it on your favorite social media platform, or Twitch, or YouTube. Are those considered social media platforms, really? Or
more or less.
Okay, because they have a lot of social media kind of integration and whatnot. But I'm sure you all followed it. You all followed your favorite games, and those of you who are more masochistic followed a bunch of stuff that you hate just so you can complain about it. And, well, now we're going to be added to that list of things you might complain about or love. Please love us. Please. We have horrible relationships with our parents. Well, not you.
Not me. My parents kick ass.
Yeah, your parents are bad.
Yeah, my parents are awesome too.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, so
I guess...
I'm just projecting.
Yeah.
No, I don't have horrible relationships with my parents.
You have to have one.
What?
What? In other words, you have to have a relationship with your parents to begin with.
Oh, see, I thought you were saying I had to have parents to begin with. Like
or that. You can be Batman.
Are you Batman?
Batman?
Yeah, what's happening right now?
It's either a sick burn or a sick comment. Got no parents, they were shot.
Anyway.
So there is no Batman game.
Only Zool.
Only Zool. There's no Ghostbusters game either. Only Zool. And so where should we start, really?
All right, well, I guess... How about we talk about...
The dawn of the first day. I was making a Majora's Mask reference.
Oh,
I got it.
I didn't, because I never played that game. So...
Right?
Yeah.
No, the dawn of the first day. Because Majora's Mask takes place over 3 days, and you have to keep traveling back and forth.
Well, then I guess we can just... How about we just go ahead and talk about...
What we played?
The games. Because it's E3. It's about games.
No, normally we kind of do a little segment called What You Playin', so let's just change it up to What'd You Play?
All right.
Because...
What'd you play at E3?
Exactly. What'd you play at E3? And we will start, as usual, with Heather.
Okay. Well, I actually this year only played about 4 games. And the first day I played 1 game. Second day I played no games, as we were just too busy. And then the last day I played 3 games. So day 1, I ended up at the Xseed booth over by Way Forward and whatnot. And I sat down. Well, I didn't sit because they don't have chairs because nobody would leave. But I ended up being able to play the DLC for the Shantae 1/2 Genie Hero that had come out last year. The DLC now is Pirate Queen's Quest. And so you get to play Risky Boots through basically the same levels, just with some new mechanics and whatnot. So I did a boss battle, and I went through 1 level. I spoke to a gentleman that I had spoke to last year. His name is Jeremy Pryor, and he's a totally cool dude. He's part of PR and whatnot for Way Forward. So... that was cool. It was nice seeing somebody that I recognized, and, we chatted and whatever. And thanks to him, I actually managed to score an interview with the creator of Shantae, Matt Bozon. Ha! I said his name right this time. Ha ha ha.
You did.
Ha.
There's an interview that should be going up soon, if it's not up already by the time you're listening to this, on the Battle Geek Plus YouTube channel with the creator of Shantae. And Heather conducted that interview. And
it was so much fun.
It was
great
fun.
guy. And so far, everyone that I've encountered with Way Forward and Xseed are just super laid back, just chill people, and those are the best kind of people.
Amazing.
So after that, so like I said, second day, I didn't get to play anything as we were too busy running around doing interviews and whatnot. And then day 3, the first thing we did was head over to Dragon Ball Fighters.
Oh.
And we stood in line. The line was pretty much the same length it was, if not longer, than the first day. And probably the second day, I didn't even check in the second day. However, it was a quick line. Like, we stood in line, maybe like 35 minutes at most.
Yeah, that was a pretty quick line.
It was a very quick
surprised.
line, yeah. So, because it moved so fast, that's why I stayed in line. I had planned on just being like, okay, well, everybody's here. Well, later, guys. But we were able to, we spoke to the attendants. It wasn't a problem for all 4 of us to go in at the same time and play on the same screen. So
that
we
way we could film each other.
So we could film. It's fucking gorgeous, for starters. I've never been excited about a Dragon Ball game since, like, fucking Budokai or whatever, because Budokai was my first Dragon Ball game, and I've never cared about Xenoverse or
the Tenkaichi games
or whatever else, you know.
The what are the other ones? The Sparking games.
Sparking.
Yeah, I didn't care about none of that shit. But I'm stoked for this game. I can't wait to smear you fuckers everywhere playing that.
And well, the combo system, like, you didn't even have to know anything.
Right, it's true. It's pretty easy to play. I did notice that some of the combos had more of a Street Fighter feel to them, like special moves and whatnot. So that might be detrimental to me.
They're easy to pull off, though. I think the inputs are actually easier than Street Fighter.
Easier than Street Fighter. Okay,
Like, there's
well,
a bit more of a window in there.
Okay.
Like Street Fighter, like nowadays, like Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, like the inputs are like pretty easy. They're really lenient, like compared to say Street Fighter 2. Mm-hmm. But Dragon Ball's inputs felt even easier than Street Fighter's inputs.
Well, awesome, because being a Tekken fan, I'm used to and prefer the Tekken input style. So, I'm pretty fucking stoked for that, just like everybody else. And as I said, it's fucking gorgeous. Every time I saw a clip for it, I thought I was watching animation and not a, video game anything. So, played that, and then after that, I head over to the Natsume booth, and I played both, what was it, River City Ransom...
River City Rival Showdown?
Oh, Rival Showdown and
River
Knights
City
of Justice.
Knights of Justice.
Yeah, so played both of those. I liked them both. Knights of Justice was similar to this last one that came out, Tokyo Rumble, in terms of, like pixels and everything. Then playing, what was it?
Knights of Justice?
No.
Rival Showdown?
Rival Showdown. So playing Rival Showdown, I was thoroughly impressed with the smoothness of like the throws, for instance. I was like stoked for that. The graphics look great. I mean, it's pretty much just a repolished version. It was not in English. They haven't done that yet. That didn't matter. I just ran around and punched people. So
I mean, that's what you do.
That's what you do. But that's what I played, and I liked all of them. So, but if I had to choose between one of the River City games, I would absolutely choose Rivals over Knights of Justice. So,
what about you,
Yeah.
Ryan? What'd you play?
So I only got to play 4 games.
Twinsies!
Yay, twinsies! But I kind of played kind of the same, but kind of different games. First day, I played Super Mario Odyssey, which was really cool. I thought it was awesome that it's a bit like GTA, where it's a bit open world in the city, but also it has Mario mechanics like platforming on the buildings. And, Mario can wear this hat that possesses, like, Goombas and, T-Rexes. I didn't get to do much of that. But the funniest thing about Super Mario Odyssey is, like, you can hop on people's heads. I thought
really?
I thought that was hilarious. And, like, I'm here in the city, I'm just hopping on people's heads. Like, this guy's, like, he's, like, playing in his band, and he looks like a normal dude. But then I'm just Mario being an asshole, just hopping on his head.
Just jumping on people.
Yeah, jumping on people. And then after that, I got to play... Oh, yeah, also forgot to mention, sadly, I played it way after they were handing out vouchers to get the hat, so I wasn't able to get the hat because it was pretty close to the end of day one.
Oh.
Because like we had an appointment like in the middle of the day, so I wasn't able to like do a lot, like in the first half of the day.
Yeah.
And then after that, I got to play Sonic Forces, which was pretty cool, but I didn't like it as much as Sonic Mania. Like Sonic Forces it's a lot like Sonic Adventure, where you have the 3D, like you have the lock-on for the enemies when you jump onto them, but then it goes from 3D, then it goes into 2D, then 3D again. I thought that was pretty cool, a little jarring, but you still have the lock-on even in 2D mode if you want to attack an enemy. I didn't get to try the character creation because it was just a small demo. You play a Sonic, you get through the level. Honestly, I'm going to say I'm more excited for Sonic Mania more than Sonic Forces.
Because you don't hate yourself?
As you should.
Yes, exactly.
I was going to say, because, you smart person.
Yep. And then I didn't play anything on day 2 because I spent the majority of the time in the new E3 Coliseum where they were having panels. I sat in on a Sea of Thieves panel. I sat in on and the most important one I sat in on was the Hideo Kojima panel and the Mortal Kombat panel. It was kind of funny during the Mortal Kombat panel, like one person yelled out to Ed Boon, "Get over here!" And Ed Boon had a good laugh. And then also the Kojima panel was definitely very interesting because he was doing the panel with the director of the upcoming King Kong movie. So it was actually more about Kojima's love for film rather than Metal Gear. I mean, like Metal Gear only came up like once the entire panel. And after that, we had an appointment with PDP, so I did not get to go on the show floor at all on day 2. And then day 3, I waited with the group in line for Dragon Ball FighterZ, which was really awesome. We did a podcast with Mike of Kanzenshu. You can listen to me and Josh talk with Mike about Dragon Ball FighterZ there. And then I got to play Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which was also really cool, but not as good as Dragon Ball FighterZ in my opinion. If I had to choose one game that I played, and I only played 4, I would have to choose Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Cool.
All right. Sounds rad. Frank?
I played Dragon Ball FighterZ and Gundam Versus.
So
Gundam Versus.
Wow,
I
just
totally
those two?
overlooked that.
Yeah, so how was Gundam Versus?
It's slow.
Slow.
Have you ever played Zone of the Enders?
Yes.
It's like that, only slower.
Oh, it's slower. So it's like piloting a
And
real
clunky.
Gundam.
How's the controls? Like, are they like... Did you play that Godzilla game last year?
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I remember that
That
one.
Godzilla game would have been like really cool if the controls weren't like
Yeah, I remember
weird.
that.
But yeah,
Yeah.
how are the controls for it? Like, was it like Dynasty Warriors, like the Gundam Warriors?
No,
games,
it was
or?
well, I guess it could have been, but it was a 1 versus 1 scenario.
Right, but I
There
mean,
was a target switching thing on it, but
Okay.
you can't really switch targets when you're the only target.
right. Well, no, because like there was like the Godzilla game, like in order to change direction, you had to use the
The
triggers.
shoulder.
You know, like that
Yeah,
sort of
it was
thing. It was like
weird.
really slow, and then like you would like go to like dash, and like you do like this really slow kind of. I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to give like a sense of scale and everything. But like, if you could have just turned with the analog stick like any other game ever, So that's why I was asking about the controls because you said Gundam felt clunky.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to do as well as they hoped. I mean, if you're a Gundam fan, because it had a huge variety of Gundam suits you can play as, but I don't think it's going to do as well as they hoped.
Well,
'Cause the only Gundam game I really liked was Gundam Battle Assault 2.
Well, I mean, Gundam games are normally, just kind of for Gundam fans, pretty much. Like the Dragon Ball, like we played Dragon Ball, and like that's like the first Dragon Ball game I've seen in a long time that like will bring in people other than Dragon Ball fans. They'll bring in like fighting game fans and stuff like that. What do you think of Dragon Ball? Like I know like you were there and we talked about it, but
It was fun.
who did you play as?
All the bad guys, basically.
Okay.
I think I played it twice. Once against Ryan and once
Yeah.
against you.
Okay,
And I won both times.
Yeah, he did.
And
You guys were water because I mopped the floor with you guys.
who did you enjoy playing as the most?
Vegeta.
Vegeta.
No,
Sorry.
Cell, actually.
So
Yeah.
I liked his little cartwheel move. Did you end up doing that at all?
I think I did.
He also had like an M. Bison style like slidey foot move where he's
Yeah.
leaning back. That one was pretty neat.
I think the move
Wait,
I used...
are we talking about Cell?
So Yeah.
Does he sound like a lawnmower when he does that?
I couldn't hear. There was a lot of noise
It
on
was
the
really
floor.
loud, yeah.
But yeah.
I hope they have that lawnmower noise in
That
there. 'cause
lawnmower noise
That
when
makes
you,
me
like,
so happy. Yeah, it's just
when
like,
it flies
I'm gonna
around.
go mow the lawn.
Like
Just
the sound
in the-
effects for
in the
Cell.
anime?
In the anime.
When he
Like-
flies around, the noise that he makes.
Like they did that noise with him a lot in
Oh.
Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
Like when he's flying around and stuff and be like, meow.
Yeah.
Like, especially during the Cell game. So
Gotcha. It's been a
uh,
while since I've seen it.
yeah, well, she sleeps in the same room as me and we watch a lot of Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
So, you know. But yeah, so Cell was your favorite. He was pretty cool. When I was playing as the villains, I liked Boo more. He was a surprisingly fast kind of powerhouse sort of dude. Like, I ended up trying to do one of his combos and, like, you just, like, grab someone by the head and, like, slam them into the ground and just start beating them into the ground. Like, I'm all like, I only pushed, like, one button and you're like, this is amazing. You know? So, and then Gundam, you said, was clunky. I'm surprised you didn't play, like, Sonic or anything like that.
Well, it was a line for it. I wasn't going to play
Forces.
Forces.
Well, when I went, it was a bit of a line, but I only waited 15 minutes.
Yeah, and in Mania, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna buy it anyway.
So it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and it's coming out really soon.
Yeah.
So as for me, let's see, what did I play? I played both of the Kunio games, River City, both of the River City games. Let's see, what else? I played Dragon Ball, obviously, with all you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I played Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splash, which is the third-person water gun shooter.
Is it team-based, or is it just like first-person?
It's third-person. The mode that I was playing, it was a 5-on-5, like time battle with a score. So
Okay,
so like when you get taken down, you respawn, and you know,
Right.
you have a life bar, and you have your water gun, which each character, like, they all move the same, but like their weapons are different. So you had like characters you could choose from, and then like the other ones from the same school, the same ninja school, were like on your team, and you had like, you know, like a machine gun style water gun and like a kind of like a shotgun style water gun, you know, that
Right.
sort of thing. Then you all had like these water jetpacks like attached to like your hips, and like your water gauge controlled both. And then when you reload, it pretty much it's like pumping a super soaker.
Right.
And that was pretty fun. It was a lot more fun than I thought it would be. Like, I saw that and I was just like, what? It's not another Melee game? But when it first like came out in Japan.
War changes.
But when I actually played it, like, I had a lot of fun. So and there was another one, Setsuna, I think it was, of Rice and Ruin.
No, Sakuna.
Sakuna. Why do I keep saying Setsuna?
I don't know.
Sakuna. Like, what is Setsuna? Like, I don't even... But Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, which was kind of a side-scrolling, heavily Japanese, like, you are some sort of harvest deity, and you're cute, and you're running around, and you're fighting, like, rabbits and giant frogs and stuff like that are very Japanese-styled, and you have, like, farming implements that you're hitting people with and stuff. It kind of felt like an old, like, Goemon game. Like, you know, like where you're running around hitting people with a pipe or whatever. If any of you know Mystical Ninja.
Oh, yeah,
Goemon,
Mystical Ninja.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it kind of felt like an old Goemon game almost. Yeah, I think that's it. And Dragon Ball was pretty much like the big one for me this year also. I ended up, thanks to Rhymestyle, a Dragon Ball YouTuber, I was able to get back into the media area for Bandai Namco and play Dragon Ball a bunch more times. And that was probably one of the big highlights of actually being at E3, because this year, you know, with there being like so many more people than usual, it was kind of harder to get in on things. And plus, you know, we had a lot of pre-scheduled appointments and stuff like that, and appointments we made while we were at E3 to do interviews and to film stuff and whatnot. So that was all fun times, which, I don't know, out of all the things that we did for like interviews and stuff like that, like Heather, like what was your favorite interview? Like, I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, Shantae.
Shantae.
'Cause, you know, I mean, I didn't expect to be able to interview anyone. I expected to stand there and do my own video on it, and then I happened to ask, Jeremy Pryor, hey, yeah, like, you got a couple minutes, like, I can ask you some questions, and he was like, oh, yeah, sure. He goes, you know what? I think, the producer might be available right now. So we went over, and he's like, oh, yeah, they've got some time, but you'll be talking to Matt Bozon, and he's the creator. And I was like, what?
Whoa.
So, yeah, that was the best, for sure, easily. And I think it's the best interview that we got this year. So, the laundry's done.
That's pretty much how I got the interview with Taka in regards to River City was, I was going to ask, the person we've been talking to. I was like, hey, you want to talk about this game on video for a few minutes? And she was like all nervous about it. She's like, oh, wait, no. Actually, the producer is available. How about you talk to him? And so that's what ended up happening. And it was pretty rad. And I think, Ryan, you're the one who edited that together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that shouldn't have taken very long either. So I think it's already up, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's already up.
Yeah, so, but I would say in terms of, like, opportunity, though, like, the biggest new opportunity that was fun was interviewing about that game Extinction.
Yeah, with Maximum
Oh,
Games.
yeah, that was great.
Yeah, that was good.
That was, like, my favorite, like, new opportunity. Because, we did an interview with PDP, which we're putting that together right now. We did, there was Shantae, which I filmed that interview. I mean, that was pretty neat too, especially like Way Forward. They're pretty rad. So, having new contact with them, that was pretty cool. But I actually was the one conducting the interview for Extinction with Maximum Games. And it was just fascinating because it was a game that at very first, I was like, oh, it's some other fantasy nonsense. Like the trailer looks like if you cut it down to like 15 seconds and then add like a mobile phone at the end of the trailer and be all like, now you could touch your phone and pay money. Like, I could totally believe that's what it would have been, but it's like, no, this is what the actual game looks like and you're going to be able to do all this stuff in real time, action style. I was like, oh, this is great. Now I want to see this. I want to talk to this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, after seeing the demo and actually talking, doing the interview and asking questions and this stuff that he was able to at least, tell us and things that, he still couldn't talk about. I'm interested in the game.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this game.
So it's definitely something that I intend on looking into. And it was a bummer that Frank instantly was just like, oh, I'm not interested in this at all and didn't come with us after doing so. We went and had food and whatnot, and we were telling Frank about it, and Frank was like, oh, interesting. So he judged a little too quickly. So, but he does that a lot.
That's okay. Frank was the one that we sent out to just do things and come back to us. And
Yeah.
Be like, what happened over here? So
yeah, at least Frank got to talk about Gundam.
Right. So I didn't even see Gundam.
Yeah, me neither. Frank was the one who, I'm sorry.
There was only, it was in the private area we were in. There was only 2 screens of it. And there were about 3 to the right of Dragon Ball.
Oh, so that was in the Bandai Namco media area.
Yes.
Okay, I was too busy focusing on Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
I
don't blame you.
And I wasn't even with you guys whenever you went over because once we were done playing, I headed over to the Natsume area.
Oh, right. So. Yeah, no, like Ryan, he's all like, hey, I got us a press contact. I'm like, cool, I'm in the back. And he's like, what?
Yeah. Because of, Frank, wandering around and checking things out, he ended up, like, I had seen it on the PlayStation Experience app for appointments to sit on more demos and whatever, was Detroit Beyond Human. And that last day that, we had some free time, you were like, yeah, you should go check it out. So you and I walked over there. I didn't actually play the demo. The line wasn't like huge by any means, but we stood there and we watched a couple different people go through, and it's kind of like one of the attendants made a comment like, oh, have you played like, Heavy Rain, LA Noire? So it's kind of one of those like detective-y sort of PI kind of crime thriller games, but it's also based with a lot of decision making. So,
yep.
So it's a lot like Murdered Soul Suspect.
Right, exactly.
That's why I thought you would like it, 'cause it's kind of like that.
Right. Like with Murdered Soul Suspect, you ask questions to like interview people, but this one was like, it wasn't just like asking questions. Oh, where can I find this? why do you think this happened? It was like the demo was a hostage situation, and your decisions affected whether or not you were going to be successful in saving the hostage. And the person you were playing isn't even a person, you're an android. At least that's the gist I get from what I've seen of it. And so it's set like, it's like futuristic, and the question becomes, can a machine have a soul? That sort of scenario. So not necessarily my kind of preferred genre, but after watching the demo, I'm pretty interested in it. So I'm going to keep an eye out on that. That is faux show.
Awesome.
So.
Oh yeah, were you guys able to see Spider-Man?
No.
Okay.
Because we ended up scoring that interview with Matt Bozon.
Oh, nice.
I'm so proud of myself that I'm still saying his name correctly. And the interview ran past the time that the appointments opened up, and they filled up, which, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care.
It's kind of funny, like on day 2 at the E3 Coliseum, I was going to use the PlayStation Experience app to sign up for Star Wars Battlefront 2, but then as soon as the appointments opened up, the whole thing crashed.
Oh, no.
I couldn't even
Again?
Yeah, I couldn't even press the button. It just froze, and then after that, once I got it reloaded, yep, I'll take it.
Yeah, but you know what? One thing I noticed is that I didn't really care. I forgot that I had the app.
All right.
After that, I kept forgetting that we had it in the first place. And then when I realized I still had it on my phone on the third day, halfway through the third day, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to just uninstall this. Because, by that point, nothing was available anyhow.
Yeah.
And there was only, 5 or 6 games for demos and they're less for demos, but for, the theater presentations.
Oh, yeah.
And they had, we ended up seeing some stuff from Spider-Man just, up on the big screen.
Right.
Whatever. It seems like I'm really excited for Spider-Man. It looks really good, and I feel like it's going to be a fun game. But at the same time, just from seeing some of the gameplay, it seems like it's going to be a lot of quick time events.
Oh, jeez.
So, but then again, it might just be certain missions. I don't know.
It looked like one of those things where, because we kind of came in halfway through the video, but I saw, bits and pieces of, other parts of gameplay that have been covered throughout E3. And it looked like it started out, as sort of an indoor, bank robbery stopping scenario with some stealth stuff and with some action stuff. And that was pretty linear in what you were doing once you kind of got to that area. And this is all just the bits and pieces that I saw. That I can't really confirm everything. It's kind of what I just put together. But, and then that's kind of linear while you're in the middle of that mission. And then it ended up being, part of some sort of, helicopter chase. You're kind of going through the city and they're escaping on a helicopter and you get to the helicopter, and then at that point going to get to the helicopter and getting to the helicopter, it's a lot of going back and forth between cutscenes and playing.
Right.
And the cutscenes are full of quick time events.
Oh man. That's no fun.
So it's just the entire helicopter sequence of the mission. So if there was a replay the mission sort of thing, like they do in Sleeping Dogs or whatever, it would be I would quit the mission after it got to the helicopter part, because after that point it's just press B to continue watching the movie,
Yeah.
So it was just kind of
press X fast enough.
mash X to continue watching,
Oh yeah, so was there anything else you guys saw besides the games? A couple of things I would like to take note of, Square Enix's booth was pretty much, not interesting this year.
I don't even think I got I think we walked past it.
We walked past it.
Yeah,
you commented on their setup being cool, how they had the screen hanging down.
Yeah,
but
cool.
there was nothing to play there.
Like I said, we just walked past it. There didn't seem to be anything that caught our attention at all.
I think the only game they had was the new Dissidia on the PS
Oh,
Vita.
yeah, I saw a lot of people playing that.
Yeah, but I went to the...
I couldn't pronounce it at first. I was like, what is this? Something.
Yeah, I talked to the PR up there. I asked if there's anything on Dragon Quest, the Kingdom Hearts 3, or the Final Fantasy 7 remake. She was like, "Oh no, we don't have anything. This is all we got."
Wow.
So yeah.
I will say that it was cool the way that they had the screen hanging this year.
Oh, yeah.
But it also kind of made me sad because it didn't feel nearly as impressive.
Yeah.
Because like in previous years, they always had it set up kind of like a theater style.
Yeah, I like
and the
that.
screen
And-
was like so much larger.
Yeah, like I would just relax there.
Yeah,
At times, too.
you need time to chill out in your middle of the floor. Fuck, go to the Square Enix theater and sit down and watch some trailers.
There's like nothing to see at Square Enix this year.
I didn't even like. The only reason we stopped at Square Enix was because we were trying to like make our way through the crowd, and it took a minute to kind of reorient ourselves.
Yeah.
You know.
I also like Capcom's booth this year. It was nice. Like the big thing was Marvel versus Capcom Infinite, and the line wasn't exactly that long, but I'll have a funny story to tell about that later in the podcast. And like they had Yoshinori Ono, he had a signing there, and his line was pretty long.
I walked by that area while he was doing that signing, just took a random picture of him.
Yeah. I have met him at Comic-Con 2009, and I actually had a picture with him with my old like flip phone back in the day.
I've never actually met the guy.
Oh yeah, he's really nice.
I'm sure he is. He looks like, I've seen like on Twitter and stuff like that. He just seems like a nice, outgoing, fun guy.
Yeah, like they also had like a tournament there for Street Fighter V.
Oh yeah, outside, right?
Yeah, and also in Capcom's booth.
Oh, did they?
So like they had two of them there.
Yeah, okay.
And they had this really tiny corner where Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 was.
Oh, really?
And so poor Mega Man, it was like he was getting the shaft again.
I saw that corner, yeah. But no, I remember it was it the first day that you didn't leave the floor until like 6, and then you came over to the restaurant like after we had been there for like 2 hours already.
That was the last day, I think.
No. With the day that it took a really long time to get your sliders.
Oh yeah.
Was that the first day?
That was the first day.
That was the first day.
Okay, yeah, because I remember at like one point, like you had just showed up or you were on your way, and I was like just kind of done sitting in the restaurant, so I went around behind. And went and watched that Street Fighter tournament that T-Mobile was putting on, or T-Mobile, I think.
I don't remember.
But yeah, they were putting it on, and it was like an East versus West like Street Fighter tournament. Like there were chairs, and I was sitting in one, and they had like a big screen to watch it on, and they had the players kind of like facing each other on a stage, like sitting down at their own monitors and whatnot. It was pretty rad. I watched that for a while. Because I watched it long enough for you to reasonably be able to order and get your food and eat.
Yeah.
Because Heather was still hanging out with you. And then by that point, I was like, oh, well, he must be getting done right about now. And then I went inside, and it's all like, oh, Ryan hasn't got his food yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also on day one, I went to Xbox's booth. I checked out the Xbox One X. It's not as small as I thought it would be. It's a little smaller than the Xbox One S, but it's definitely small, but not like that small. And also, their booth was definitely very crowded, so I didn't spend a lot of time in there.
I don't think we even crossed the threshold. Like we walked past it a couple of times. We're like, oh, this void that means nothing to us.
Right. But yeah, it's kind of funny this year. Like Xbox had their booth in South Hall rather than West, because because West is always where the big three were. Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. But in West Hall now it was just Sony and Nintendo, kind of side to side.
And another thing that I noticed is that there was a lot more space taken up by areas for VR stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, I know PlayStation's been doing that for a while, but they had, in the past, they had like maybe like 4 stalls, and like this year they had like 7 or something like that.
Yeah, like Westall had this whole section just
it was huge.
To VR.
They had all these different setups for, PSVR, for Oculus, for other third parties. Like there was an area where they were demoing a wireless VR headset, which that's a fantastic idea because, one of the big problems with VR right now, aside from the price and whatever, and people not really having the space to do this sort of thing in, and the dangers of, say, trying to walk in your game or whatever and, like, I don't know, crashing yourself into your TV, would be the fact of all the wires and tripping over them. Because, like, even, like, whenever we would play with the PSVR and we would just sit down, it was a problem, like, because you would turn your head and you'd get caught on something and you'd have to, pull yourself loose. So a wireless headset, I think, would be a great next step for that. So
Yeah, and also I went to Twitch's booth with my friend Rob, who's known as Toothpick Vic on Twitch. Yeah, we both went to the Twitch booth. We played some kind of crane game where we can either win like a Twitch headband, or in like one of like the little balls, like there's a free ticket to TwitchCon. I mean, I already paid for my ticket to TwitchCon, so if I got another one, I would have given it to one of you guys. So, but I just wasn't able to, like grab the ball.
No.
I was like, this thing's rigged.
It sounds like a carnival rigged game.
And it's also funny too, like Rob and I went to the Hyperkin booth, and like they were giving away like like they had a sweepstakes. If you like tweeted this picture on Instagram with these hashtags, like you can win a free HTC Vive. And,
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, which is why I posted a picture on my Instagram. Like the HTC Vive is like the only VR headset I don't have, and I was like, it would be great if I got it for free. and then, but obviously I didn't win.
Yeah. Another thing is that once again this year they had the Super Soul Brothers playing live music.
Oh yeah, but they had a bigger stage this year.
They did. They have a larger stage, but one thing that they did do is that they moved the couches further away, so to keep people from just sitting there and not moving.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a bummer, but whatever. It was fun to watch them play and listen to them, and they would take requests and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was always cool seeing them. So
Yeah, but overall, I think the game lineup for this year's E3, it was decent, not great, not as good as the last year's, but I did have fun with the games we did play and the games we did interviews for.
Yeah, I definitely feel like just because of the crowds and whatnot, and because the appointment system, that it was one of those things where the games that I played were games that I really wanted to play, and only games that I was willing to wait in line for, and so they ended up being games that I wasn't just kind of like, I tried it, So I felt that was good that I played. I feel like the games that I played meant something more to me.
Yeah, that's definitely like I really kind of usually like I'll play like a bunch of games, and then like I find like out of those like 2 or 3 that like I really want to get like in the next year. But this time I kind of had to decide, what was important to me before I went for it, because there were just a lot more people there than there had been in the past.
Right. Now, one thing about this year was the number of people that in attendance. So the crowds were quite large.
Oh, yeah.
This year, I mean, every year you always hear, oh, E3's irrelevant. It's really gone downhill. And it's like, okay, so from whose perspective? Because it is a trade show. It's not necessarily meant for the public. And, it's good. It's great for them to showcase what they're doing, what they're working on, what's coming out, what people can anticipate. But in the end, it's for people who work in the industry to make contacts and, see about doing some partnerships and being like, hey, this is what we're working on. I know you're working on something similar. What are you working on? That sort of thing. But I do know that the attendance was up, and that doesn't include the 15,000 public passes that were purchased this year. Last year, as far as I'm aware, there was like, I want to say...
I think you told me it was around 50,000.
50,000-ish of industry people. And then this year, if you subtract the number of public passes that were bought and paid for, the number of industry people was up by almost like 3,500.
Yeah, it was like 53,000, 54,000 industry people this year. And
so
then
the attendance was up. So, it's going downhill, and then people are pulling out and doing their own press conferences and whatever. I mean, that's fine and dandy, but it seems like, E3 isn't going to go anywhere anytime soon. I certainly don't feel like that's going to happen.
Yeah, because last year I kind of felt like, South Hall was way, way less crowded than West Hall, but this year it was definitely reversed. Yeah, but last year I can recall South Hall was almost a ghost town.
Yeah.
Now, last year there was the problem that we talked about of everything being so closed off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad they didn't do that this year, because
they did it in a couple of places.
Even though there was like long lines to play games, there was like more like I could move through the floor better. Like I could go through an area much better than I could have last year, where it was like everything was like shut off, and you had to like make appointments pretty much for like any little thing you wanted to do.
Yeah.
It's all like, oh, get on the PlayStation Experience app if you want to poop today, you know. And
Yeah.
pretty much.
But there were some issues still with traffic flow. There was that area between the Twitch.
It was like Warner Brothers
Couch
and like
or whatever.
Activision.
Yeah, like they had their two areas set up so close, and they were both like blocked off areas entirely. There was no way to escape the crowds. And there was at one point on day one where you and I were trying to get through, and there were 5 rows of people going one way, 3 rows of people coming the other way, and it just ran smack dab into like a crossroads, and there were just so many people. Like, we were taking baby steps. It took us 20 minutes to get through like 40 feet. Yeah. It was insane. And it wasn't anybody's fault other than it was just a bad flow. It's just, and then just like after that, like we fucking avoided that area like the goddamn plague.
Oh yeah, like day one on the south floor was insane.
It was crazy. And I also feel like that there were a lot of people in the general public that didn't realize that, maybe not necessarily realize that there was a second hall, or more like everyone had the same idea of going into this first hall, like, because where you get your badges is in front of that one hall. So everyone immediately heads in to that first hall and does that, and then they go head off to the second one. So I feel like everyone kind of had that same idea and excitement of, I'm at E3, I need to get in there now. And that just kind of concentrated everybody into one hall. So
It was definitely, having that additional 15,000 people from the public there, though, was interesting. I mean, most of most of what might be considered a problem in any way whatsoever is just the fact that there was so many people, so there was, a lot longer lines for things that where there normally wouldn't be much of a line. But, most people were well behaved and all that stuff. But there were some issues that hopefully, the people running the event and running security and stuff like that will be more aware of if they're going to open it up again next year.
Yeah.
So, like there was some thefts. There was someone who tried to like assault another person to get them out of line so they could hop in that spot in line.
And this was also the first year that I saw line attendants having makeshift signs that they made on the fly to be able to control the crowds in terms of lines. Day 3 was always fantastic because most people would leave because they had work to do, and Day 3, we thoroughly enjoyed Day 3 because you walk in, hell, you'd be cold on the floor because the AC would be cranked up so high to account for all the body heat. And like most people would be gone and you'd just be freezing on the floor, and standing in line wasn't a big deal. But, and like we always liked Day 3 because it was like a sanctuary. You just kind of walk around.
Day 3 was
yourself.
Like we got done doing all of our work we were going to do the first 2 days, and then like it was
we just fuck around
and see if there was any last minute stuff that we needed to do while we were playing games.
And this year, I remember we went in, and apparently the line for Destiny was 7 hours. It was a 7-hour wait, apparently.
Yeah. Also, Wolfenstein 2 is also a long.
That's literally the entire day.
Yeah, the entire. Why are you waiting 8 hours?
That's literally the entire day. And then, of course, then other lines where I said that they made makeshift signs to control the crowds would be like, "We're sorry, the line is temporarily full. Come back in an hour."
I'd never seen those signs.
I had never seen that before. I mean, I will say that both the first 2 days, I did go by the Ubisoft booth to check out Assassin's Creed Origins, which, holy shit, I haven't cared about this series for the last, 3 games, and I'm all like, oh my god, this looks amazing! Because I'm obsessed with anything Egyptian, and it looks fucking fantastic, and I really was hoping to at least check it out, but the first 2 days I went over to the area, it was just a blob of people.
Yeah,
I didn't know where.
So much.
I did not know where the line was.
Yeah,
I couldn't find attendants because they were just buried. They were just drowning amongst a sea of people. However, the third day I went by and there was actually a line, and they had extra attendants there with signs. Line is down here, and at the very end it say line is full. Come back in an hour. And I was like, okay, well. That's cool.
Yeah, because I wanted to check out Mario and Rabbids, but on that first day there, it was just so congested at Ubisoft's booth. I couldn't. I just saw the sign. I couldn't even get to see any of the monitors with the gameplay.
Yeah, and I mean, as was said, most people who were there acted accordingly. and we're an issue. But,
Well, we had a couple of bad eggs.
Yeah. So, obviously, the number one problem that we knew was going to happen was con funk.
Oh,
because
God,
for whatever reason, people don't understand personal hygiene. Like, okay, if you're coming to E3 or going to any convention whatsoever, and
basically.
you can't afford a hotel or an Airbnb or somewhere to crash, and you're staying in your car, dude, seriously, you're obviously going to be walking around with a backpack, or you're going to be walking around with a bag of some sort. Just bring some damn deodorant with you whenever you go, wherever you go, and slap that shit on repeatedly. Go in the bathroom, wash your piss.
Please take a shower.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, like a lot of our friends on Facebook were also complaining about the con funk, too.
Yeah, I mean, the first day, I kind of caught a whiff here and there.
I got a story about that.
The second day, I didn't really encounter it. The third day, it was whenever I was testing out Knights of Justice at the Natsue booth. Natsume booth. And, it's on a 3DS, and you're tethered to the booth. And I'm standing there, and I'm playing, and the guy next to me, he's done, he sets it down, he walks off. Next guy stands up to play it, and holy shit, I was so sad by how short that tether was, because I could not get away from it. It was awful. I could taste it. Oh my God. I ended up just being, okay, well, I'm sure the other game is, on this same machine, but I went ahead and I just set it down and I walked away, and the attendant was all like, oh, you didn't have to get in this separate line to be able to play Rivals. Like, you could have just gone in the menu. And I was like, no big deal. I just did it to get away from the smell.
All right. Okay, so my story with the con funk is on day one, I went to the Capcom PR section so I could see if I could score an appointment. And this guy in front of me, this really big overweight guy, like he was sweating from head to toe, and man, he was emitting like the worst con funk out there. Like, he was complaining to the PR rep saying, well, I don't want to stand in the line for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and I deserve to be led into the media room because I paid $250 for my badge. So the problem was I was behind him, but then I had people behind me too, so I couldn't really back off. And so this guy was complaining with the Capcom PR rep for like 15 whole minutes, and God bless this Capcom PR rep. Like, he was so patient.
That's good.
He was so patient. He was trying to calm him down, while dealing with the con funk at the same time. But this guy was emitting the worst odor I have ever smelled in a long time, and I've smelled con funk at Anime Expo before.
I mean, you go to a lot of conventions.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I've smelled the con funk, because I think over the years people have learned proper hygiene wherever I went. But this is the first year in probably 13 years I've smelled the con funk.
Yeah, I didn't really notice it on the first day. It wasn't until the third day, and that's probably because some of the people who just decided not to shower, that just sort of built up over a period of 3 days. So by the third day, it was much easier to kind of walk into a spot and be like, oh, wow, come on, there was,
Yeah, another issue that I noticed was the amount of trash on the showroom floor. Trash happens whenever you get a lot of people going through, but whenever there are entire empty chip bags and candy wrappers and just plastic from coffee cups and, you unwrapped a sandwich and you threw it on the ground, come on, people.
Yeah. What the hell
there are trash cans. You're carrying bags. Hold onto your trash until you leave. There were a lot more merch booths out on the floor.
Yeah, I bought some merch.
Of course you did. Yeah. Theft was mentioned. I know that theft happened at some after parties. Theft happened on the last day. Frank and I actually saw police officers coming off the floor after taking a report. From what I understand, it involved someone breaking into a display case and stealing something that was going to be at a limited edition something or other at some point, but not yet available. Then, of course, there were the stories of people physically trying to remove others from line just so they could move up a little bit in line because they didn't want to wait. I did hear of and walk by some instances in which media on the first day or two would get let in because media is there to work. When they show up, they get preferential treatment. and people yelling at attendants, screaming about how, oh, why are you letting them cut in line? Like, they just got here.
Yeah.
And having to be told repeatedly that they are working, they are media. Like, you are here to enjoy. We are here to work.
Yes.
You know?
Exactly.
And just acting like children.
And also, there were a lot of people running.
There
which
were
is
a lot.
no.
Well, you know, I mean, that's happened in prior years. That's nothing new.
Yeah.
It happened last year
Yeah.
with Zelda.
Oh yeah.
So nothing new. And you know that also has a lot to do with the fact that there are industry people there, and there are people who are trying to get into the industry. People who are like us. You know, we're small potatoes compared to a lot of people. You know, so in previous years, you know, we would just be given, you know, the press releases and, oh, we don't have time for you. This year, however, I mean, people seem to be all like, oh, okay, like you have some time and we have some time because everyone's setting up appointments and it's not just a free-for-all.
Yeah.
You know, that we managed to score some of the appointments that we had because they were doing more appointments because of the fact that general public was let in. And so, you know, they were trying to have a little bit more structure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like this is something important I do want to say. Like 2 days before E3, on like the Sunday before it, I went to this event called EA Play, which is, you know, EA, they decided not to be part of E3 this year. They wanted to have their own thing because like they skipped on it last year too because they were frustrated that they weren't able to talk to their fans, you know, like to get like direct feedback. So I went to EA Play. It was mostly because I wanted to meet my fellow like channel awesome friend Farad Muhammad there, and so like we hung out in line, we had fun, but then he had to go. And so at EA Play, like yeah, there were a lot of normal people there, like a lot of kids, a lot of families, and it was nice. A lot of them were pretty chill. But the most important thing I got out of it though was you know, like when I played NBA Live 18. I mean, it's a game I honestly don't have any interest in. I mean, I haven't played any of the NBA Live games since '95. But the developer there was just so interested in whatever I had to, you know, like whatever feedback I had of the game since I haven't played that franchise for 20 years. And he's like, oh, please, oh, just give me your business card. Yeah, and then we'll get in contact with you. And so we can trade feedback. So I was like, okay, that's cool. And also, I got to play Battlefield 1 there. I've never played a game in the series. But then I really enjoyed it because, you know, like, you're, like, playing, like, what, 32 people at the same time, like, on...
Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, on this, like, chaotic war field, and it was so much fun. I ended up actually buying the game after going to... EA Play, and it was only, like, $20 because, you know, the game's been out for, like, about 6 months already. And like, like the developers there were like, oh, please, like, do you have any feedback of this new expansion that we're doing? I'm like, yeah, here's my business card. So yeah, I felt that what E3 was lacking in previous years was, you know, that bridge between the fan feedback and like the developers. You know, because E3 is attended by industry and media, so like they're kind of more of like, you know, like the middleman between the fans and the developers.
Right. I mean, I totally get what you're saying because in previous years, you know, I'd try a game and if I didn't find it enjoyable, you know, and people were like, oh, what did you think of it? I felt like if I had anything negative to say that I was just being rude.
Right.
You know, so the fact that Gen Pop came in this year, you know, a lot more people were asking the questions, what do you think? How do you think we can improve?
Yeah.
So that was really great. And there's nothing wrong with not so great feedback because feedback is, the point of it is to help you improve.
Yeah.
However, doing it in a non-dick-like fashion is necessary. I do know that whenever we were filming Josh's interview with Taka for River City at the Capcom booth, a very large group of people, the fact that we could even hear them over the loud roar of the crowd, and I'm so glad our mic is really good because it would have ended up on the video if that had happened if we didn't have that mic. But a large group of people started chanting Dragon Ball sucks. Like, I know that there's this rivalry right now between Marvel vs. Capcom and Dragon Ball, you know, but that's utterly disrespectful.
Yeah, I know.
You know, that is not okay. That could be easily pitched as a reason for Gen Pop to not be allowed in the future because of the way that they acted in terms of situations like that.
I know they're gonna let them in though. Like it's
Oh well, yeah.
you know there's revenue in that. So I think really what I ended up saying online, like I ended up tweeting or Facebooking or talking to somebody about it. I can't remember, but the point I came to was like, okay, so these were the problems this year with this new thing. Hopefully, the staff and whatnot can address those things to make sure it's not such a problem next year.
I feel like there's going to be more security next year,
hopefully,
on the floor.
Yes.
However, I found it odd that they weren't checking IDs this year after the first day, because that's what they would do on the second and third day to make sure you were who you were, that your badge said. However, it's quite possible that they anticipated the people that were upset with E3 and thought it sucked and it was a waste of their time and money and sold their badges. And if they had carted off every single person that was wearing a badge that did not belong to them, that they would have ended up with a half-empty floor.
Right.
I mean, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, more for me to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it probably would have brought down their revenue a bit, you know, because those people who came in with the fake badges probably did buy merchandise or, you know, there's a good chance they did.
Or there was that one guy that they had to start stationing security people every morning because each day they had special bags.
Oh yeah, there was that one guy who was like 20.
Yeah, it was like the Mario bag.
Yeah,
and he ran up to it and grabbed like 20 of them and then walked off. And after that, they started stationing security by the boxes so that every person just got one.
Oh yeah, like I was in line for those Mario bags because I bought some swag. I couldn't carry it, so I went outside, like outside of South Hall, and like there was already a line gathering just for those bags.
Right,
and I actually did see one of my old buddies from the Zelda Rush last year there too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I was like, hey, how you doing? He's like, yeah.
I was really sad that I did not manage to find Mona and May.
Yeah,
they were working the Ubisoft booth this year, which they're both really stoked for Assassin's Creed as they are Egyptian and it's set in Egypt. And I would have been great being able to see them, but they were busy, and if I didn't see them when I passed by the booth, then so be it.
Like we barely had any time to meet anybody. Like I didn't get to see Angry Joe like I have for the past couple of years. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen Andre the Black Nerd, who I've seen also for the past couple of years.
I thought I saw him at one point, like off into the distance, and I got closer and I was like, no, that's somebody else.
And I didn't really see anybody either. Like I saw Reggie for a minute, but he was like surrounded by like a team of people who would like hired to like eat mushrooms and then stand around him so that they were very large.
Oh yeah, and also like our pal Kyle Gatto, like I wasn't able to see him until the last day, and we had to play a game of cat and mouse. It's kind of funny. Like he was on his way to see me, but then he would run into someone else he knew, and so like he had to spend time with them. Well, and then after that, he was like, "Okay, why don't you come over here?" And so like we're kind of trying to meet each other halfway. Then I end up running into someone I know, and then I got to spend time with them. So like we had this hilarious cat and mouse chase.
Like slowly getting closer and closer.
Yeah, and then after that, I was like, "Oh, hey, Kyle, where are you at?" "Oh, I'm outside West Hall, and Kyle's outside South, where we agreed to meet. Finally, we're able to meet outside of West Hall, and then like we hung out, we took pictures. I introduced him to Rob, aka Toothpick Vic, and like they became really fast friends because like they knew.
I think Kyle just does that with everybody.
Yeah, like they knew people from Blizzard and other companies. Like, oh yeah, I know this guy, I know this guy. Then boom, they became good friends. And then I finally was able to meet you guys at Tom's Urban.
God, we were there for like 4+ hours.
Yeah, we were there for quite a while. But I mean, there was a lot of traffic and whatnot that we wanted to avoid. So, we had a lot of fun on that last day. And, we hung out with some people that we hadn't had a chance to hang out with yet.
And you and I found Kyle the day before.
At
Tom's.
Yeah, but overall, we were super busy this year. And also, I do think, it is important to have the crowd. But obviously, like, this is, like, their first E3. They don't really know the etiquette. I think if there was a better, proper explanation of what the etiquette was and what E3 is about, because a lot of people still think this is a place for masquerades, AMV contests. Well, basically PAX.
Yeah.
Like, they think it's going to be PAX East or something, but it's not.
Yeah, it's just a lot of people, came into it thinking it was going to be a convention, and they did kind of do some things like add panels and stuff like that to make it a bit more con-like. But, you know, people brought their con funk with them. And, you know, that was stenchy. But it really is still, in the end, kind of a trade show. And hopefully the balance between the con aspects and the trade show aspects, you know, will get more balanced out. Probably, you know, 99% of the public people who attended were fine.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, it was just a bit crowded, and it's not their fault, you know.
But definitely overall, I am looking forward to coming back next year.
Yeah, it's still going to be fun.
Yeah,
So-
I want to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Frank?
No,
No?
I'm not going back.
Well, you were contemplating not going back even before they announced that the general public would be allowed in.
Mhm.
So you
just done
just
with it?
you
You're
just seem
over
to
it?
have just like lost interest entirely. So
Yeah. Unless
Yeah.
something else comes up that makes me want to go. Until then, I have no plans or desires to go. next
Well,
year.
regardless, I'll still get you a ticket if you change your mind.
That's fine.
Okay, so.
Cool.
All right.
Well,
All right.
I think that's pretty much it for our E3 podcast. I think Heather and Ryan, you both had the most to say about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, and a lot of what you said, you know, covered my feelings as well. So I wasn't going to chime in and be all like, you know, you're all
and repeat yourself,
Just
or repeat what I
repeat
said,
exactly what you just said. Yeah. So, anywho, thanks for listening. This was quite a long one, but
Yeah. A smidge.
yeah, but we're gonna make it go just a little bit longer because Ryan, I need you to tell our listeners about our other shows on Battle Geek Plus.
All right, so our other shows on Battle Geek Plus, but first let me get these out of the way. Like, you can go to our channel at youtube.com/BattleGeekPlus. We have posted a lot of E3 videos. I've done a lot of gameplay coverage videos of like Super Mario Odyssey, Dragon Ball Fighters, Sonic Forces, and so on. And we have a lot of interviews that we've done, you know, with Maximum Games, with Way Forward, and also we have our montage video that we do every year. And also we have shows like Awesome Video Game Memories where we talk about games and review them. And we also have Battle Geek Plus Arcade Edition where we go to actual arcades and play games there. And also you can catch us playing games on twitch.tv/BattleGeekPlus and YouTube Gaming. I will be returning to streaming this Friday with the original Kung Fu on the NES. And I won't have a stream next week because I will be preparing for Anime Expo.
Anime Expo, yeah, I'm going to that too.
I
Yay.
might show up for a party and get wasted.
Yay!
Yeah. So, fun times. Anywho, thanks for listening. Ryan, thanks for telling about the rest of the shows, like always. I am Josh. I will see you later. Everyone else, Heather,
Bye.
Ryan,
Later!
Frank.
Game over.